16 COVID-19 patients identified from several districts. Health authorities call for the closure of pubs and restaurants serving liquor. Quarantine curfew continues to be in effect in 18 police jurisdictions in Gampaha. CEB incurs a loss of 181.5 billion rupees between 2015 and 2019.
Good afternoon and welcome. This is Lunchtime News on TV1. On to your top story for this afternoon. Commander of the Sri Lanka Army and Chief of Defence Staff Lieutenant General Shavendra Silva says 16 more COVID-19 patients have been discovered from other districts apart from the Gampaha district.
Army Commander added that positive cases have been identified from the districts of Matale, Ampara, Badulla, Anuradhapura, Kurunegala and Manoragala.
We have
been informed that 16 more COVID-19 patients have been discovered from various districts in the country. That is according to the statistics we received over the last 2 days. We have to be vigilant. You cannot say that you are not at risk if a case has been reported from your area. Yesterday we saw the death of a woman and how people try to portray the death differently. This woman is a relative of an employee who works at the Minuwangoda apparel factory. The woman passed away due to a heart attack while she was being taken to a quarantine facility.
207 new COVID-19 cases were reported yesterday and the total COVID-19 cases in the country stands at 4,459. A total of 1,172 patients are currently receiving treatment under medical supervision and 3,274 patients have been recovered and discharged from hospitals. Commander of the Army, Lieutenant General Shavendra Silva says that a hotline has been declared to assist the employees attached to the Minuwangoda apparel factory and their close family members if they want any information regarding the present situation. The hotline is 011 3456 548.
In more related news, the quarantine curfew which was imposed for 18 police jurisdictions in the Gampaha district will continue until further notice.
Police jurisdictions in the Gampaha district with the quarantine curfew in effect are Gampaha, Ganemulla, Kirindiwala, Dompe, Malwatu Hiripitiya, Mirigama, Nittambuwa, Pugoda, Veyangoda, Minuwangoda, Veeragula, Valiveria, Palewela and Yakkala. Quarantine curfew is also in effect in the Kalaniya, Jayala and Kanana police divisions. The curfew is in effect in the Devulapitiya police jurisdiction in the Nigambo division as well. Quarantine curfew is also in effect in the Siduwa police jurisdiction. Colombo, a usually popular city, was captured through our cameras in this manner. Our correspondent stated that areas such as the Fort Railway Station, Peta bus stand and the Manning Market were less crowded. During the period of curfew, all citizens in the affected areas are required to remain indoors. Entering and exiting the areas where curfew is in effect will also be prohibited. Long-distance passenger buses are allowed to pass through the area. However, buses will not be allowed to board or allow passengers to exit from areas where the curfew is in effect. Trains cannot be stopped at railway stations in areas where curfew is in effect.
Consular services of the Ministry of Foreign Relations have been temporarily suspended today and tomorrow.
Issuing a release, the Ministry of Foreign Relations said the decision was taken to limit gathering of crowds. The ministry said it will only accept queries related to death cases of Sri Lankans overseas and assistance on death-related documentation and attestation of export documents strictly on prior appointment basis. The ministry informed the public that appointments could be placed via the emergency lines 011 233 8836 and 011 233 8812. Reservations could be made for obtaining export documents by dialing 011 233 8812. Meanwhile, the Inland Revenue Department will also be closed for the general public until further notice. The department said all services could be obtained online through the website of the department and through the hotline 1994.
The Sri Lankan Foreign Employment Bureau said a total of 67 Sri Lankan migrant workers have died so far after contracting COVID-19.
Media spokesperson of the Bureau, Mangala Randiniya, said the deaths were reported from 17 countries including Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait and Oman. According to the media spokesperson, more than 2,600 migrant workers in total have so far tested positive for COVID-19.
Authorities have decided to subject all staff at the Mattala International Airport to PCR tests.
This step has been taken after an employee of the sanitary division at the Bandaranaike International Airport tested positive for COVID-19 yesterday. State Minister of Aviation and Export Zones Development D.V. Chanaka said that all staff at the Bandaranaike International Airport have been subject to PCR tests yesterday. One employee attached to the sanitary division of the Bandaranaike International Airport was tested positive for COVID-19. With that, we decided to subject all staff at the BIA to undergo a PCR test. Many people have been directed to self-quarantine. PCR tests are being carried out at the Mattala International Airport. Only essential employees are permitted to report to work. We have asked the people who live in areas where curfew is imposed to stay at their homes and not to report to work. We are working in a methodical manner to transport essential employees to the BIA. Not a single case has been reported from any of these airports. The patient identified yesterday was discovered from Dulapitiya. We hope that there won't be any spread from that case. We have carried out 46 PCR tests so far. All those individuals are directed to self-quarantine at their homes.
Health authorities have notified all bars and restaurants that sell alcohol to close down.
Commissioner General of the Excise Department, Haridasa Bodharagama, said that the health authorities closed down bars and restaurants that sell alcohol in line with the spread of COVID-19 in the country. He added that no decision has been taken to close down wine stores as yet. The Excise Commissioner General said that a final decision on the matter will be reached based on the advice of the task force of the National Operations Centre for Prevention of COVID-19.
The Speaker Mahinda Yapa Abeywardena informed Parliament today that a relative of an employee at an office in Palawatta who provides services to parliamentarians had tested positive for COVID-19. I would like to direct your attention to this matter. As parliamentarians, we go to the office in Palawatta to obtain certain services. When I went there at around 8:30 this morning, there was a notice on the office door preventing the entry of anyone other than staff members into the office.
කාර්යාලයේ නිලධාරීන් සේවක මණ්ඩලය හැර වෙනත් කිසිම කෙනෙකු කාර්යාලය තුලට ඇතුළේම සම්පූර්ණයෙන් තහනම්.
The relative of an employee at the office had tested positive for COVID-19 and the employee is currently being tested. That is the reason for the prevention of entry of people who visit the office. This was done for the safety of everyone. I believe this situation will change in the future.
Honourable Speaker, with the current situation in the country, yesterday the Board of Investment forwarded a letter to all factory owners in the country. The letter clearly states that 5% of their workforce must be tested for COVID-19 every week. The letter has named 4 private hospitals at which PCR tests must be conducted. The second COVID-19 wave has come at a time when the country was reeling back from the economic hardships caused from the first one. Doing the math roughly on this, there are about 1 million employees at all these factories across the island. So 50,000 PCR tests must be conducted every week. The first question is, do we have that many PCR test kits in the country? Secondly, the government has given this completely to the private sector without providing any assistance. That is because if the government intervenes, they will have to spend 325 million rupees every week for PCR tests. If a single PCR test costs 6,500 rupees. I know that a private hospital submitted a tender to the Ministry of Health pricing a PCR test kit at $6.5. So these tests are being used to make massive profits. So because of that, if it is done and if the factory is further burdened and are pushed to a point where they have to close down, what will happen to the exports of our country? I believe the idea to test the employees is good, but the way in which testing is done is problematic. I would like to state that a massive fraud is taking place in the guise of providing PCR tests. In more news from Parliament, Minister Dalla Salhaperumal revealed to Parliament today that the Ceylon Electricity Board had incurred a loss of 181.5 billion rupees between 2015 and 2019.
These are the losses incurred by the CEB since 2015. 2015, 2.3 billion rupees. 2016, 14.4 billion rupees. 2017, 47.5 billion rupees. 2018, 31.9 billion rupees. 2019, 85.4 billion rupees. Had there been a loss during this time period, what factors contributed to it? The first factor is the projects planned out under the long-term power generation plan, not being implemented in a timely manner. Honourable Speaker, after President Mahinda in 2013 added the 600 megawatt Lakwijaya power plant in Norochole to the national grid, not a single major power plant has been added to the national grid for the past 7 years. Apart from carrying out various side projects deviating from the power generation plan, no major projects were implemented.
In more news from here at home, parliamentarian Sivanesature Chandrakanthan began providing evidence before the Presidential Commission probing the April 21st attacks.
According to our correspondent, MP Chandrakanthan began providing evidence at the Commission around 10:30 this morning. The MP requested the Commission to record his testimony in private without media. Former Minister Abeywardena arrived at the police unit attached to the Presidential Commission probing the April 21st attack. He is providing evidence for the fourth day today. According to our correspondent, he concluded making his statement at the police unit at 11:35 a.m.
And with that, it's a wrap of lunchtime news on TV1. In case you missed any of these stories and much more, simply log on to our award-winning website www.newsfirst.lk. Also on our social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Jamal Ratnayaka. Stay safe and have a good afternoon.